I've been battling with my lupus for maybe 4 years, and it was just constant pain. Nobody's helping with my pain. I'm literally suffering every single day. I didn't want to be here anymore. You know, I'm really depressed in a dark, dark place. And I love my kids. I have 3 kids. And I was willing to give it all up because of the pain itself. I remember me going to my rheumatologist and, you know, just telling him, I can't do it no more. You know, just put me in hospice. I just want to die. I don't have the fight to keep pushing through this pain. And he said, no, you know, don't do that. Give me a chance. Have you ever heard of palliative care? And he was just like, I'm going to make a phone call. And he made a phone call that day. And then Dr. Myers contacted me and I had an appointment. She came in the room and we had a conversation. And one of the things Dr. Myers has said to me is, I'm sorry I didn't get you sooner. And them words just really stuck with me because nobody really cared enough about my pain, you know, and just for me to meet somebody off of one day and was willing to try to help me it was amazing. And ever since then, it's been a better journey. Not easy, but better.
It's almost unimaginable how much Shilekka has been through since she received this diagnosis of what we call mixed connective tissue disease. So all her joints hurt, all her muscles hurt, her hands are deformed. She developed a bone infection. Her gut was inflamed. And eventually we realized she had to have her gut removed surgically. If you've ever had the flu, you know how miserable you feel. That's the way it feels every day.
I have tried pain management, and pain management looked me right in my face and told me that they can't help me. My primary care doctor was just like, take a lot of Tylenol, you'll feel better. It doesn't matter the dose, just keep going up. And I'm like, well, I'm still suffering. Any hospital that I go to, it's always the same thing. You know, we gotta wait until you get examined. Oh, when I do get examined, we can't give you nothing because of the gasparesis you have. It was just a lot of excuses. They literally cut me open and gave me absolutely nothing for my pain. They let me suffer.
You shouldn't have to fight for pain control in a hospital. Like, I'm in so much pain.
After the doctor decided to read my chart, she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was so bad. You know, that's just one of the many times. Another time, I caught a fever, 103, and the doctor told me take the hot packs off. You know, you giving yourself this fever. You know, it was always dismissed. Just recently, the same thing. I came in really, really sick. And this doctor, I was sitting in the hospital for almost 12 hours. He gave me nothing for pain. I was very calm, you know, and then he told me I had a bowel obstruction. And I told him I wanted to go home because I'm tired of suffering with the pain. He looked me right in my face and said, I'm going to put something in for your pain now if you stay. I'm not a junkie. I'm not a crackhead. I'm not none of these things, whatever you portraying me to be. It was very, very hurtful. This is every single time. If they have to make a dose higher, I have to get an exam. When the person who's next to me, if she's white, she doesn't have to go through that. They're going to give her what she wants. It's not going to be a fight. It's not going to be a question. This happened several times. Even now, when I have the fentanyl patches, there's always an argument if I'm admitted, oh, did you come in with those? We have to take those off before you leave. And it's like, what is happening? You know, like, I don't understand. They did this procedure. They put my port in. I was wide awake. The surgeon who came in was yelling at his team, why is she wide awake on my table? Who approved this? Things like that. You would have never did that to nobody else, but here I am. I'm up, you know, wide awake, and this is what happens. So, yeah. Sucks.
There's a concept in palliative care called total pain. And that is the recognition that everything influences everything else, right? So if you were abused as a child, your sense of faith and trust in the world is permanently altered. And all of these factors, depression, guilt, existential distress, childhood trauma, repetition of trauma in the current healthcare system, guilt about her kids, fear of leaving them, all those things contribute to the experience of pain.
I feel like I've been going through trauma my whole life. So when I was a little kid, I've been being touched since I was 3 years old. So I was molested from when I was a child. And that alone isolates you, where you feel like nobody wants to hear you, or, you know, they just really don't believe you. I went through that a lot growing up. So being that I'm sick, I feel like I'm still fighting. And now I'm fighting for something that's not even my fault. You know, I didn't ask to be sick. I didn't ask to be in this situation. I didn't ask to be touched as a child. I didn't ask to do any of that. But for some reason, I'm still paying for it. So it hurts. Like, you know, when I'm genuinely coming to you guys for help, and it's just like, nah, we don't even really believe that is, you know, that serious, or we just gonna just let you suffer. It's repeating the abuse all over again, however you do it. So coming here gives me really, really bad PTSD. I just felt like I've never escaped abuse from when I was a child, and now that I'm sick, it's just much worse. You know, I feel like they look at me and they're like, oh, she's young. It's not that bad, but it's bad. I have meningitis, really bad meningitis, which could have killed me. But prior to that, it was missed for months. You know, they just kept saying, it's a headache, it'll go away. But it could have been found had I came to the hospital when I was supposed to, but if I can avoid it, I'm gonna avoid it. If the doctors don't say you have to go or call an ambulance, I probably won't go. So yeah, it stops me a lot, and every time I'm usually almost killing myself. They're like, well, good thing you came in right now. But I'm traumatized, you know. I don't want to come in and be beaten on by doctors who's supposed to take care of you, because that's what it feels like. It's a beating. They usually apologize after, but it's too late. I'm broken. Because if you come to the hospital, it's for them to help you. And I feel like I'm more discriminated on when I come in the hospital. I'd rather just stay home and suffer with whatever I have to suffer with. At least I know I could call my doctors and I'm not gonna get judged. It's always worse for me in the hospital. I'd rather just be home. And you just care, you know, just be honest and care. If you can't do something, say you can't do it. Communication goes a long way. you know, you don't have to be nasty about it. In the hospital, everybody's just moving so fast. They really standoffish. Just like, okay, I'm in pain. All right. Okay, I heard you. I'll go read your chart. Okay. Stuff like that. And versus, okay, Miss McCune, what happened? Tell me what happened from the beginning, from, you know, the start. And then they're actually listening. And you'll say, oh, I'm going to go read your chart. You know, I believe if we come into the doctor, you read the chart first, it will eliminate a lot of questions or second guess, or is she this? Is she junkie? Is she just drug seeking? I don't see why you have to suffer. It's really no reasons. I just feel for the new people coming in, treat people how they should be treated. Don't judge a book by its cover. And just do your research, and it will make everything a lot better. Get to know your patient and just treat everybody how you would want to be treated. You want to be heard. Your patient wants to be heard too. You know, they don't want to be dismissed, or it's like, yeah, you know, that's not really how you feel. I know since palliative care entered my life, my quality of life has been just a tad bit better as far as the pain. I couldn't move, I couldn't walk, I couldn't deal with my kids, I couldn't do none of that. I probably wouldn't have been here, you know, so I'm able to function now that palliative care is involved. Even spiritually, you know, I can have a conversation like, you know, I know I'm probably not gonna be here much longer, but we could talk about these funeral arrangements. There's no judgment, you know. If I talk to anyone in the palliative care, you know, I tell them about the pain, they're listening. So that's the difference. You know, before palliative care, I wanted to be in hospice. Now palliative care is here, I feel like I could breathe a little bit. All I ever wanted to do was function. You can't function in pain. So now I can do that as when palliative care got involved. I just really want to bring awareness to how people are really being mistreated. Nobody should be mistreated. Given your color, your race, whatever, everybody should be treated the same way, and it's not the same, and it has to change.